Probably would be good if I unmuted the live stream so people could hear me. But, yeah, like I said, first time out. Again, appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Very excited for this. Appreciate the fine folks that were over at Tin Roof having us. I was joking around earlier. I've been in here many times inebriated, but wasn't sure I'd be here on the stage doing this. Again, if you're tuned into the live stream, if you can't be here tonight, please let me know. Again, the sound, everything else. Again, very excited to chat with you guys. Appreciate Tin Roof having us out. And, yeah, like I said, what a journey it's been with TSUS and everything else with the business and the content and, you know, rocking and rolling everything we do. And, you know, couldn't be here without you guys' support. So I want to say thank you to everybody who's been rocking with us from the jump. And it's been one hell of a ride. I think Noah's probably seen it the longest since the Armchair South Carolina days, way back in like 2017, 2018, if you will. But like I said, head on out to Tin Roof. We'll be out here live each and every single Wednesday, getting it going in the midst of the preseason, if you will, the off season, as some would call it. But we're just 52 days away from kickoff. As you can tell, I did the podcast earlier, so I'm talking like it's Thursday instead of it being Wednesday. So I'm a little bit all over the place. But again, appreciate everybody having us out and excited for this. Again, we got 2 hours of Gamecock conversation. Very pumped to get this thing rolling. Again, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. I don't know if we could have picked a better day to start this in regards to everything going on today. So first thing, you wake up this morning, Carolina baseball, everybody's freaking out. Skylar Meade has taken the head coaching job at Troy University, the Trojans. And I talked about Skylar Meade all season long, that he's one of the best up-and-coming young coaches in college baseball. And certainly that's why you see a guy like that getting the opportunity, you know what I mean? Also, Trip Couch heading to Arizona, no longer on Mark Kingston's staff. He'll be taking over them. Recruiting coordinator and assistant coach, same exact role that he had before at the University of South Carolina. And my least favorite narrative around Gamecocks baseball right now, for whatever reason, is that those coaches are leaving because the program is crumbling. I don't know why that is the narrative. I think Carolina baseball is fine. And again, when you have really, really good coaches and you have really, really good players, they get drafted and they go leave for other opportunities as well. Wish Skylar nothing but the best, man. What sucks is I feel like now I can say this. Skylar was my source while he was in Columbia. So, unfortunately, I've got to find somebody else to give me the insight, the early feedback. But, no, man, Skylar's an awesome dude. Really appreciate him, everything he did for Carolina baseball. 4 years in Columbia. Obviously part of Mark Kingston's staff, a great part of his staff. What's up, my guy, Corey? Corey, appreciate you having us out, man. Seriously, it's a great opportunity. Very excited for this. I know we're all very passionate about this. And as we creep closer and closer to kickoff, SEC Media Day starting next week. And I've been telling people, man, kickoff is going to be here before you know it. So make sure you get your merch, by the way. But no, the start of the Shane Beamer era, I know we're all looking forward to it, man. Kickoff just 52 days away. Nick Renfro tuned in and says this is like the Daily Crow on steroids, which it really is. It really is. Because people don't realize we've already been live for an hour today. We've already done an interview today. We've already done the show for tomorrow. So this is going on like 5 or 6 hours of just rambling into a microphone. I tell people the mic is my therapist. So, yeah, really, really good stuff. But again, back to the Carolina baseball thing, man. It's, everybody freaking out this morning as I woke up, getting flooded with tweets and messages and everything. When you have really good coaches, and this can apply to baseball, football, basketball, no matter the sport, when you have really good coaches, they're going to get opportunities. And for a young guy like Skylar Meade, who, great up-and-coming young coach and, did great work for South Carolina. You take a look at the pitching staff this year and just what they did and really carried this ball club. I know we're on the football, everybody's talking about football, but just looking back at baseball, the pitching staff is what carried this ball club. I think a 3.5 or 3.6 ERA in the SEC, which is good enough to win each and every single game you play in. So big ups to Skylar Meade, man. He's a guy who deserves it and wish him nothing but the best. Again, I expect great things from Troy baseball. And, people ask me, why is he going to Troy? He's an SEC pitching coach. Why would you go to Troy? Look at the path of Mark Kingston. I would challenge you to do that. Look at the path of Mark Kingston and what he did and the steps he had to take going to Miami, then Tulane, then USF. Then he got the South Carolina head coaching job. So it's a step-by-step thing, man. You got to take the necessary steps and you got to go through the process. And that's exactly what Skylar Meade is doing. So excited for it, man. Very happy. As far as Trip Couch, again, assistants, They go different places. What's crazy in baseball, man, you have the paid assistants rules. There's only, 3 or 4 paid assistants. So maybe Stuart Lake gets the promotion. I don't know. Maybe Stuart Lake gets it. James Kendall says, sweet shirt. Yeah, the Big Cock Club shirts are out. Those at Tin Roof are like, what the hell is he talking about right now? Now, the Big Cock Club shirts are out. All the merch is out. Appreciate y'all rocking with it. But now excited for Trip Couch too, man. Obviously joining a new staff in Arizona. But hopefully they put Stuart Lake on the payroll. And if you're starting to think about, candidates to replace Skylar Meade as far as pitching coaches, why not look down to Citadel? Why not look down to Charleston? And Blake Cooper, former Gamecocks right-handed pitcher, 2010, a legend at the University of South Carolina. Why not? Why not? Blake actually DM'd me earlier, said he'd be thrilled to take the job. So, Mark Kingston, if you're somehow tuned in, you're listening, why not Blake? Why don't we go hire Blake Cooper, one of the best all time, to do it in Columbia? Brian Beatty texts in and says, yo, do we know who the new recruit is today? Yeah, recruiting is going nuts right now under Shane Beamer. You can't even keep up with the welcome homes he's rolling out there. It's incredible. It's incredible, man. The welcome homes are nuts. Shane Beamer is just crushing it on the recruiting trail. I mean, the hot rumors are Keenan Nelson. We're also hearing Jamon Osmond. We're hearing it's going to be the highest rated recruit in the 2022 recruiting cycle. So, I don't know. I think everything you hear right now is sort of just hearsay, sort of just rumor, if you will, and take it with a grain of salt. But sounds like we should hear tomorrow. Sounds like we should hear tomorrow. And if it is Keenan Nelson, what a pickup for Shane Beamer. I mean, he's just been crushing it on the recruiting trail. Like I said, all the welcome homes, you just can't even keep up with him. You can't even keep up with him at this point. So shout out to Shane Beamer, what he's doing, obviously. But yeah, back to the baseball side of things, man. 8 Gamecocks drafted in the 2021 MLB draft, and third most in college baseball. No, I don't know. Third most. Yeah, tied with NC State. We know how far they went. I think we all agree they should have got a better shot and a better shake than what they got. But dude, it speaks to kind of baseball. When you have really, really good players, that's what's going to happen. That's what you hope to happen. As far as how many come back, that's the question that everybody seems to have. I think Julian Bosnick will be back. I think 16th round is really, really late for him. We're talking about a guy, 94, 95 on the left side with great command. Mix of speeds, was dominant when he pitched this year. I don't think he gave up a hit in his first, 17 innings pitched or so. I mean, it's incredible. So Julian Bosnick, I think, will come back. I think he's better than a 16th rounder. Outside of that, I think Danny Lloyd is 50-50, but he even posted something today on Instagram, which is almost like a farewell message to the University of South Carolina and saying forever a Gamecock and all that. So who knows with Danny Lloyd, maybe he's back, maybe he isn't. I think outside of that, though, your top 10 round guys, I think they're all gone. And a lot of people are surprised at that, saying, Wes Clark, he should come back, he can improve his draft stuff. But I think what they don't realize, people will take it for granted how hard it is to get drafted. I think that's something that people do not appreciate. And anybody who's been around the game of baseball or has played the game of baseball and has known guys that have gotten drafted, I've known guys that got drafted one year, came back, and completely missed out the next. So it's never a guarantee. You can get hurt. You can, I think one of the best examples, if you remember this name, is Nick Ebert, who played at the University of South Carolina 2009. I think he hit 20 home runs, played first base, all conference, all SEC guy, was drafted in the, I think it was 22nd round or something, 20th round. Decided to come back. A youngster by the name of Christian Walker came in, and the rest is history. He barely even played and did not get drafted. I don't know if he even played pro ball after that. So you never really know. There's never a guarantee, man. It's never a guarantee that you're going to get drafted again. So you got to take that chance. With Wes Clark, for example, the odds that he would come back and lead the SEC in home runs is, I don't know about Wes, but it's probably slim to none. I mean, that was a magical year he had this year. He wasn't perfect, but had a magical year for sure. We got a couple questions rolling in. T-Love says, how many of the current 3 stars have the potential to be 4 stars? And I don't want fans to get too caught up, on the stars. I know the recruiting services, man, they've done a fantastic job in regards to making a living off the stars and the ranking system, and that's what we as fans have to go off of are the stars. But listen, if you can play, you can play. Right now, you're a fan of the Gamecocks, you're a fan of Shane Beamer, you're a fan of everything he's building. You got to believe that Shane Beamer and company, his staff, are two things. They are master talent evaluators and they are master talent developers, right? Master talent evaluators and master talent developers. Because right now at the University of South Carolina, you're going to haul in top 25 classes, but you're probably not recruiting at a top 5, top 10, probably off the jump top 15 clip, especially when you have not even coached or won a football game yet. So, I think with Shane Beamer right now, you have to really trust the process and trust that coaching staff and trust that they're going to be a lot like, you think back when Steve Spurrier was at South Carolina, when Shane Beamer was recruiting for Steve Spurrier, 2007, 8, 9, 10, when he brought in some of the best Gamecocks in school history. Not all those guys were 4 and 5 stars. You were able to hit on those big time guys like Lattimore, Alshon Jeffrey, Stephon Gilmore, Jadeveon Clowney, of course. But then you found the guys like the Dylan Thompsons, the Connor Shaws, the DJ Swearingers, I think Melvin Ingram was a 3-star. So listen, while stars, I'm not going to say they don't matter. I'm not going to say completely they don't matter at all, but they don't tell the entire story. The problem with the previous regime, the previous staff, which we won't even really go into, but the problem was not the recruiting. The problem was not the talent or the stars. The problem was lack of development. I think we all agree with that. I think lack of development was a major concern. And I think we're going to see that with some guys on this roster this fall. And again, like I said, we've got 52 days to break it all down. But that was a major issue with the staff. And you look at guys on this roster that, we just feel we're not as developed as they should have been. Bottom line. So, and I think we'll see that this fall. I think you're going to see Shane Beamer and company do a really good job of getting the most out of some guys on this roster who maybe before we're kind of just buried in the depth chart and buried on the roster and buried in regards to productivity, if you will. Sean O'Brien texts in, he says, between Florida and Auburn, which one would you choose as having more upset potential this season? Yeah, so I actually talked about this on the Monday show, which in case anybody who's here, anybody who's tuned in might have missed it. On the Monday show, I actually broke down game by game, gave my predictions for the first 6 games of the Shane Beamer era, the first half. Tomorrow's podcast, tomorrow's show will be the second half. And by tomorrow and by next week, when we do this again, everyone will know my full season predictions for South Carolina's 2021 football season, Shane Beamer's first year. But I talked about on that show on Monday, the most probable big upset in my mind, I think it's got to be the Florida game. And it's simply just where it falls on the schedule. Also, Sean mentioned Auburn. I think Auburn's a toss-up. I don't think Auburn would be that big of an upset. I look at Auburn the same way now that I looked at Auburn last year. And, I'm not trying to spoil my pick for tomorrow or anything, but I look at Auburn very similar in the sense of I just don't see them as world beaters, especially under Brian Harsin. And, I've heard some things about Harsin off the record about, some people that would know about Brian Harsin. And I'm not sold. I'm honestly not sold on them. They've got their own issues at quarterback with Bo Nix, TJ Finley. Who's it going to be? Of course, they got a fantastic running back in Tank Bigsby and, some solid guys back on defense. But overall, I don't know. I'm just not sold on Auburn. I wouldn't look at that as some huge upset, some game where I look at and say South Carolina's chances of winning are slim to none. I don't view that game that way. So I put that actually in the toss-up category. So for me, Florida, that to me is by far without a doubt because of where it falls on the schedule, how much Florida lost from last year's team. That to me serves without a doubt as the most probable big upset for the 2021 football season. You look where it falls on the schedule. Again, we'll first talk about Florida, what they lost. Kyle Trask, Kyle Pitts, Trayvon Grimes. When you lose generational talent like that, and they didn't just lose, some okay guys here and there. You lose generational talent like they did. You're going to feel it. Look at LSU last year, man. They lost Joe Burrow. They lost their entire team, and it was a struggle. It was a struggle for LSU. It was a struggle in regards to that adjustment period. I'm not saying that Florida will drop off quite that much because I think they still do have talent, but it is going to be an adjustment. I think the SEC East is Georgia and everybody else. Really, Georgia, there's a huge gap. Then you have Florida, and I think there's another gap. And then it's kind of everybody else fighting for 3 through 6, and then Vandy is rounding out the bottom of the SEC East at the 7th spot. But in regards to, yeah, that game, I mean, I think it sets up really, really well for South Carolina on the 2021 schedule. Gamecocks will be coming off of a bye week. Should have some momentum, too, because I picked you to start 4-2 this season. The first 6 games, 4-2, 1-2 in conference play, but 4-2 overall. And not to spoil it for tomorrow, but I don't think this is breaking news. I've got the Gamecocks beating Vanderbilt in week 7. So you'll be 5-2 through the first 7 games. So there will be early momentum for Shane Beamer. I think there's a great opportunity to capitalize on the front half of the schedule and have that early momentum. I think you will have early momentum in Shane Beamer's first year. That Florida game sets up really well. You have the bye week after the Texas A&M game. You'll have 2 weeks to get ready for them. You'll have time to rest up, get your guys healthy, get your team right in Florida that week. The previous week of the South Carolina, they will take on the Georgia Bulldogs. So you can imagine they'll be coming off of, they'll either be licking their wounds or coming off an emotional high. And, I think South Carolina could catch Florida. They've also played Florida really, really close, by the way. It's not like it's been a series where Florida has dominated. I think most Gamecock fans would argue the Gamecocks should have won at least one of those matchups in the last 3. You think back, 2018, you were up by 17 points. Completely just blew that game in the second half. 2019, you have Florida at your place. You're up going into the fourth quarter, by the way. The referees, need I say more about the referees? Just a complete joke show of a game from the refs. And then last year, where you saw some of the most incompetent, just clock management and coaching prowess or lack thereof. You saw just some of the most boneheaded decision-making from your coaching staff at the end of that game. So it has been a very interesting series against Florida Gators, and I think that game sets up well for South Carolina to score the upset. I'm not saying I'm going to pick it, but that game sets up well for you. Can we take calls in here? Can we take? Can we play a phone call into the mic? Would that work in there? Yeah, let's take a call. Let's jump. We're at least going to try it. So this is going to be like our own version of Carolina Calls here. All right, Phil, you're the first ever caller here. We're going to see how this works, but appreciate you calling in, man. What's up?
Of course, it would be the first caller. I'm so proud of the tin roof, the thing of tin roof. This is awesome. So happy to see this, and I hope it continues for you. Just more success upon more success. This is awesome.
I appreciate it, Phil. You'll have to come into town sometime, especially in season. But either way, I appreciate you tuning in, man, each and every single day. And obviously tonight it is pretty crazy. It is wild. So, what's you got anything? Any questions? Anything else? Obviously, I'll also congrats on your success with the show. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not going to bore your listeners and the audience there with the tin roof with what's going on with rugby, but I think 6 wins is exactly what this team is built for at this point. I think there's going to be a lot of momentum. A lot of people are going to be saying this is such an awesome coaching success. It's going to be a turnaround from 2 wins to 6. Of course, keep in mind the non-conference schedule comes back into play like it normally always is, except for that COVID year. But again, a lot of people are talking about much more wins than that. Pump the brakes a little bit, because otherwise you're going to disappoint yourself. Try to stay even keeled, and we'll see what happens with the season. Don't set yourself up for failure and get your heart broken like we normally do with Gamecock fans. So, 6 wins. I think it's perfect for the first season with Shane Beamer, and let's see if we can build on that step going forward in Gamecock.
Appreciate it, Phil. Thanks so much. Great stuff. First ever caller at Tin Roof. Love it. Carolina Calls on steroids and much better. So, no disrespect to Carolina Calls, by the way. But no, I think Phil makes a great point. I think the expectations of Carolina fans are pretty realistic. I like to think so. I don't think there are, there's some with the garnet glasses on and some that want to be optimistic and hopeful. I totally get it, right? It's hard not to be intoxicated with what, Shane Beamer is doing right now and the momentum he's built and everything else. I think most fans are saying to themselves, okay, this is a program that has won 6 games the last 2 seasons combined. That's not an opinion. That is a fact. And so if Shane Beamer can get to a bowl game his first year as head coach, 6 wins or more, anything on top of 6 wins, I say is great. I think it's great. You get to 6 wins or more, though, I think most fans would be happy with that. Again, I've seen some predictions out there. You know, I think 7-5 is a fair prediction if you want to go there. I think anything between 5-7 and 7-5 is a fair prediction. Now, when you start talking 8-4, to me, that's where it feels that's a little tough. That's a little aggressive, I think. That's a little aggressive. Again, we're talking about a program, like I said, that, hey, get this. Again, this is just a fact. Not trying to be that guy. The last time South Carolina played a team that was not in the Power 5, the last time they played a team that was outside the Power 5, they lost to Appalachian State. So just keep in mind, right? That's why when I say that ECU game in week 2 is the key game, don't scoff at that. Don't mock that. Don't act some type of way. Bro, the last time you played a team outside the Power 5, you lost to them. So South Carolina football is not at the point where we should be taking any game lightly right now. But certainly, I think setting those expectations, 6 wins, I think that's very realistic, especially when you look at how the schedule sets up, especially in the front half. You've got EIU to start. You've got ECU on the road in week 2. Even though I say that's the key game, I think that's going to be a very close game. I think we all agree it's a game you should win. You've got Troy in week 5. Heck, you got Kentucky in week 4. You got Vandy in week 7. So really, at minimum, you should be a 3-3 football team. Or excuse me, 3-2 football team through the first 5 games. You should have 3 wins. Yeah, through the first 6, I should say. Sorry about that. So I played 4-2. You should be at worst 3-3. You should be at worst 3-3. You can win one of the 2 swing games. It is Kentucky and Tennessee. There you are at 4-2. All of a sudden, you're only 2 games away from a bowl bid. Again, getting to a bowl bid, I do think fans need to keep realistic expectations, understand, have some patience. It's going to be a process. It's not going to be something that happens overnight, and that is okay. It takes time to instill a brand new culture, a brand new system, a brand new scheme. Hey, don't forget, it took Steve Spurrier 5 to 6 years to really get it rolling in Columbia. And again, I think that fans will be realistic about it. I think fans will give Shane Beamer the time he needs. Again, I think they will be much more patient than they were with the previous staff. But we all know, hey, in college football, this is a results-driven business. If you don't win on the field, people are going to complain. They're going to get upset. When you're making millions and millions of dollars to coach a sport, you know, it comes with the territory, unfortunately. So James Kendall says 2020 Florida is when I bought my Fire Muschamp ticket. You know, it's kind of crazy how long it took some people to come on the Fire Muschamp train. I mean, I think I was like the conductor of that train for the longest. I was on the Fire Muschamp, and that was one of like the big moments in the history of business, history of content. You know, before that, I think TSUS was, you know, it was a nice thing, but honestly, that Fire Muschamp stuff kind of sent it to a new level. That was like the first real viral moment, I think, for the Spurs Up show. When South Carolina lost at UNC 2019 in Charlotte at B of A, and yours truly went on Twitter and said, old Fire Muschamp, and got 32,000 views on the old Twitter machine. So, but it's crazy. There's some people that really, you know, I've talked to some, they weren't on that train until the A&M game last year. It took them that long. It took them that long to, you know, just kind of accept, hey, Muschamp is just, he's not that guy. He's not going to be that guy. But again, I don't want to spend this entire time talking about Muschamp. We did that plenty the last 2 years. Austin Morris says, who becomes wide receiver 1 for South Carolina? Yeah, that's something we're going to talk about all preseason long, about the wide receiver position. And certainly, I think most of us would agree, it's a deficiency right now. No doubt. It's a deficiency. You know, I've said many times right now, I think wide receiver 1 will be Amarian Brown, the Georgia Tech transfer. You watch his film, watch his tape, man, really like what you see from a guy like him. Has a Deebo Samuel type skill set, very quick, about 5'9", 180, but extremely fast. And the thing with him is, you know, the great thing about these grad transfers, especially when they come from a school like Georgia Tech, it's not like taking the chance like you do on a high school prospect, where he's never done it at the college level. You don't know, right? Mike Wyman just at the transfer portal today. No disrespect to Mike Wyman, by the way, and I wish him best of luck. And hey, I think it's something where the kid's got to make the best choice for him, and he's doing that. But, you know, he was a 4-star prospect. You have high aspirations for him, and he got on campus, and it just never worked out. Versus a guy like Amarian Brown, who literally tied the freshman receiving record at Georgia Tech as a true freshman. And the guy he tied, his name is Calvin Johnson, a.k.a. Megatron. Pretty good player. So, Amarian Brown has done it for a Power 5 team. He's done it in a Power 5 conference. and he's done it against good competition, dude. He's caught touchdowns against Syracuse, Clemson, Pittsburgh. I mean, he's done it at a legit level. I know we love to make fun of the ACC and ACC football and all that, but he's done it, at the big time level. So I think Amari Brown, he's a guy not many people are talking about, was banged up in the spring, did not play in the spring game, but I would be very surprised if he is not wide receiver one for you. I'll be a bit surprised if he's not the number one wide receiver for South Carolina. Corey Texan, I wonder who that is. Corey Texan. Who do you think will be our biggest sleepers on both sides of the ball? And this is a really interesting and funny question because I think our entire team is sleepers. Outside of like Kevin Harris and JJ Barre, I think everybody else is a sleeper, at least nationally. Sleepers right now, though, I think offensively, you look at a guy like Jaheim Bell, someone that's really not getting talked about a lot and had a big spring game. Somebody that I think when you look at what South Carolina is going to want to do offensively, he sort of fits in that tight end, fullback, H-back, can split outside, go play wide receiver. He fits in that mold of, Shane Beamer being under Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma. They had a lot of guys like that. He sort of fits that mold of those type of guys. So I think Jaheim Bell offensively is a guy that nobody's talking about that will have a much bigger impact than maybe people are expecting or just nobody's talking about. Again, like I said, there's a lot of sleepers on offense. I'd say Amari Brown's a sleeper. Nobody's talking about Amari. Maybe E.J. Jenkins, Rico Powers, Ricard Cole. There's plenty of guys I think that are being slept on here. But I'd say Jaheim Bell, I think he'll be the biggest impact guy that nobody's talking about. Defensively, I would probably go with, there's a lot of sleepers on defense. Probably Mo Kaba at the linebacker position. I think most people are expecting big things out of Debo Williams. Karan Prunty, obviously the transfer from Kansas. I think he's an immediate day one starter. Cam Smith is expected to be DB1. I think it's pretty set that Jalen Dickerson and R.J. Roderick are going to be your safeties this year. And we all know about the defensive line. Jordan Birch, Tonka Hemingway, Zach Pickens, J.J. Barry, Aaron Sterling, Brad Johnson, Devontae Davis. The list just goes on and on with talent, the athleticism you have up front. But I think Mo Kaba, I really like his game. I thought he played really, really well as a freshman a year ago. Hey, Tonka Hemingway is another one. I thought he played really, really well as a freshman a year ago. And I think a guy who's going to make an even bigger impact this year. So those would be my two guys. Again, Jaheim Bell offensively and Mo Kaba defensively. Mo Kaba. Again, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Appreciate you all for coming out. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Again, guys, appreciate y'all being cool, flexible with everything. Those who are tuned in virtually to the live stream, obviously the first time out, we're going to be live each and every single Wednesday at Tin Roof, 5 to 7. We're going to play around with the setup and with the sound stuff and with the live streaming and stuff like that and everything else. But really excited. Appreciate you guys over at Tin Roof for having us out, man. Corey and obviously Grassi over there who's eating bartending as well. Tip your bartenders. Be sure to take care of your bartenders. I know they take care of them here at Tin Roof, man. I've had some buddies that work here before. Yeah. I feel like people that come in here are pretty good about that, right? So not too bad, not terrible. But make sure you take care of your bartenders. But seriously, man, appreciate everybody that's rocked with Spurs Up Show and rocked with the content. Just rocks with everything we do, man. Because like I said, opportunities like this would not be possible. I mean, like I said, I got Noah in the building who's been rocking with me since writing articles 2017, 2018. And he can tell you, he can attest to how crazy this ride has been, the journey, and how much this thing has grown. And again, I was joking with Phil, our sound guy, but I've been in here many times to come out for a fun night out, but I'm not sure I would picture myself necessarily on the stage speaking into the microphone. So it's really, really cool, man. Appreciate y'all rocking with us. And like I said, opportunities like this would not be possible without you all. Jordan Smith also mentions Jalen Foster. Yeah, Jalen Foster will be a big player for us in the secondary. I think so as well. I think he'll be a big player for us. But again, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. Again, a lot of you asked, Chris, is this going to be similar to the daily live stream you do? Which if you guys did not know, we're live each and every single day, Monday through Friday from the studio. Right now, noon to 1. A very similar setup, just taking questions, comments, calls. I love the relaxed banter style, kind of the back and forth, whatever. But yes and no, this is very similar to that. This is going to be that, but I would say on steroids. Again, we don't do the Daily Kroger Day in front of a live audience. So this is a really, really cool thing we're doing here. And but again, I do love the interactive aspect. You guys want to call in. I'm sure those calls, as we get closer and closer and closer to football season, certainly when we get in game week, I'd imagine those calls and those questions are going to absolutely ramp up. And I see your questions piling in, by the way, in the live stream. Phil, by the way, says, I got to shout this out. Phil's weather report for New Hampshire, 82 degrees and partly cloudy. We actually read all Phil's weather report every single day. Just kind of one of those funny, quirky things we do. Blake Howard says, how many years do you think it will take Beamer to have us competitive with the best teams in the East and that upstate team? Yeah, again, so I would say fans, be patient. Be patient, bottom line. You know, what you're seeing Shane Beamer do on the recruiting trail right now, it's great, but he's going to need time to do that 2, 3, 4 times before realistically you can say to yourself, when we go into a season and say, South Carolina can realistically compete with the Georgias and the Floridas for an SEC East title. As far as Clemson, man, and I know people hate hearing me even say that name. I take on more so the Steve Spurrier approach in the sense that when he got here, I thought he really did a good job of shifting the culture and changing the conversation when he ripped down all the beat Clemson signs and put the emphasis on winning the SEC East and winning the SEC and beating the teams within your conference. Because here's the thing, the SEC is still without a doubt the best conference in all of college football. I don't see how anybody can argue that. You take care of winning within your conference, within your division, you're going to beat Clemson. And that is going to take care of itself. So you don't need to be worried about what Clemson's doing in the upstate, what they're like, who cares? That was, I'll be honest with you guys, that was one of the things that I'm as fired up about Shane Beamer as anybody had. We got merch with his name all over it. So I'm pumped up about Shane Beamer. One of the conversations that sort of made me feel just kind of sick to my stomach was all of the Dabo Swinney comparisons during the offseason and the preseason. And I'm thinking to myself, should we really be comparing what we are doing to what Clemson is doing in the upstate? Like, why do we want to copy what they're doing? I understand how coaching is now and that CEO type of coach, if you will, but it just makes you a little queasy. It makes you a little queasy to think that we're comparing ourselves to our little brother up there in the upstate. But either way, I'd say give Shane more time, man. Be patient, 3-4 years. Give him some time, and let's see where we are 3 or 4 years from now. Let's see where we are 3 or 4 years from now. Like I said, getting to a bowl game this year is the goal. That's the expectation. If you can do that, get a successful first year. But we actually talked about this earlier today during the lunch hour. I don't really have a set, 3 years we better be here, 4 years we better win this many games, 5 years we're going to do this. Just give Shane Beamer time to build. Obviously, you got to see progress, and of course, you see progress on the field. It's all about winning games. We all know that. It is all about winning games. You can talk about all the positive momentum and the recruiting and this, that, whatever. But if you don't win games in the field, it's all for naught. Hey, the previous staff, the previous regime, they did everything right except win games. That's it. That's it. Perry North and I talked about that when he came by the studio. So, you got to win ball games. You got to win ball games, bottom line. We'll see. But it's about sustaining progress, having progress in your program. I think Shane Beamer will be able to do that. Let's see, Justin Warren says, text in on Facebook, actually, which, by the way, if you're wondering, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. It says, hey, Mike Wyman is leaving. Again, for those who may have missed it, Mike Wyman, 4-star wide receiver, transferring, announcing he's in the portal today. It says, Hate Wyman is leaving, but obviously he must not have a fit here like we thought. Thought he was going to get a chance this year with Shy Gone, give Beamer 3 years. He will have this program rolling. # Beamer Ball. # let's get it. Yeah, again, the people that, I saw somebody comment on Instagram, Gamecock or FU or something like that. It's like, dude, these players, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You don't know if Shane Beamer might have told them, hey, you're going to have a better opportunity somewhere else. I mean, I understand everybody wants our favorite players and our Gamecocks to stay Gamecocks for 4 years and graduate. But if a kid comes to school and he's not playing, he came to college to play and make an impact, right? He came to college to play. And if he's 8th or 9th on the depth chart, you think, too, we're going to be an offense that runs the ball, I'd say 70% of the time. 70%, 75% maybe. You think about that, and you're 8th or 9th on the depth chart, you got to go somewhere you can play. You have no shot to play. You have no shot to play. So, yeah, and again, Jordan Smith said you got to think with Wyman leaving, he fell in the depth chart. Exactly. I think getting hurt last year, I I think getting hurt last year and just, again, being buried in the depth chart, you brought in Omega Blake too. You've got, Rico Powers, Jakari Caldwell, those guys. You've got a lot of other guys that can make an impact for you. I think it's just as simple as that. You got buried in the depth chart, wants to pursue other opportunities to play, and, that is that. So, again, taking your questions, comments, calls, guys, 843-790-3377. Phil says there'll be more Canadian and Cock videos in the future. I think so, maybe. I'll let you know. I don't know yet. But again, like I said, in case you guys missed the Monday show, we actually grouped the games up into wins, toss-ups, and losses. Wins, toss-ups, and losses for the season. Again, I've already predicted the first 6 games of the 2021 season. I've already picked the first 6 games. But I like to group the games up and put them in those specific categories because I think it helps kind of give you an idea of, okay, here's our best case, here's our worst case. That's kind of how I look at it. So I grouped up the games, wins, toss-ups, and losses. I had my wins as Eastern Illinois, Troy, East Carolina, and Vandy. And East Carolina, I may have been a little kind. Some will look at that as a toss-up. I think that you can throw that, I think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be a back and forth. I can't wait to make the trip to Greenville, by the way. We'll be heading up there. I think we're actually doing like a live pregame show at the tailgate with one of the ECU shows up there. Going to be a really, really good time. But even with that being said, I think it's going to be a close game. I think I picked the score to be, 27-23 Carolina. So obviously, 28-24 Carolina. 28-24. I think it's going to be a really close game. But I still feel like that's one we expect to win. I feel confident looking at the schedule saying we're going to win that football game. Okay? So I've got EIU, ECU, Troy, and Vanderbilt as the 4 wins. And when I say wins or losses or whatever, that is a game I feel confident putting a W or L next to in heavy black ink. So mark me down. Hey, if you can get the Vegas over-under, if it's still at 3.5, my God, take out a second mortgage and put your money on the over. Because I don't understand it. I cannot compute how these people think. I don't see any scenario where the Gamecocks win less than or 3 games or less. I mean, Vegas must think you're going to lose to either ECU or Troy, or maybe both. I don't know. Because I don't see a 3-9 or worse season coming from South Carolina. The losses I have is Georgia, Texas A&M, and Clemson. I don't know many who would argue that. As much as you want to say, remember what you did last time in Athens, you beat them in 2019. And that's fair. Funny story about that game. We threw a watch party for that game at Tanny Hill's Group Therapy. Shout out to those guys. That was a hell of a day. I mean, we had a blast. Went to Group, went over to Village, drank our body weight champagne. It was a good time. But the only reason I didn't go to Athens, I didn't go to that game, was because I thought to myself, well, we're a 24.5-point underdog. I don't think we have a chance. There's just no way. Even I had a good feeling going that game. So I was like, there's no way we're going to win, right? There's no way we're going to win. I'm not, as a small business, going to, pay money for tickets and for gas and the road trip. We got a little something there. Paid money for the road trip for gas and tickets and all that stuff. It was just like, there's no way I'm doing that. And of course, South Carolina turns out and wins. But realistically, that is a game I'll chalk it up as an L right now. I mean, Georgia, I don't know if maybe I'm overhyping Georgia. No, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, by the way. Just you can stay there, but I think I've got Georgia winning the national title. Honestly, I think Georgia is going to smack Clemson week 1. I think they're going to smack them. I don't know. I think Kirby's finally got his quarterback in JT Daniels. I mean, the running games, obviously, they got the best receiving core they've had in years. They just picked up Eric Gilbert out of the transfer portal of LSU. They got Darion Kendrick, the former Clemson defensive back, that will be playing against his former team in week 1. Georgia's filthy already defensively as is. I don't know. I think if this isn't the year for Georgia, I don't know when the year for Georgia will come. But I think Georgia is going to be the real deal. I think they're actually going to go undefeated in the regular season. I got them going undefeated. I think they're going to win the SEC championship in Alabama. I'll be dropping all those picks on Friday, by the way. I've got the entire SEC helmet schedule with my picks for the entire SEC. I think Georgia's real, though, man. I mean, I love Georgia. I hope I'm wrong, but I think Georgia's for real. I marked that game down as a loss, man. South Carolina asking Shane Beamer in his first ever SEC game on the road to go into Athens and get a dub in that one. It's a night game, 7 o'clock kickoff between the hedges. Georgia will not sleepwalk through that one. I just don't see it. And I don't see another player having like an Israel McQuamu or J.C. Horn type game, 3 interception, pick 6, and everything that has to happen does happen for a monumental upset. I think Georgia, honestly, I think that's going to be the first bit of adversity that Carolina football is going to face in the Shane Beamer. I'm actually really excited for it because I think that's where you learn about your teams, and that's where culture is built. I think that's where culture is built. That's where character is built for your football team. So I think Georgia's going to smack you in the mouth, to be totally honest. I think they're going to smack you in the mouth. I think I had 38-17 in that one, that might be actually kind of kind. I had 38-17 in that one. I think, which again might be kind of kind in that game. But I've got that one, Texas A&M and Clemson. Again, A&M, you've never beaten them. Until you do beat them, I don't really believe that you can beat them. And then, unfortunately, the Clemson game, I just look at it very similar to Georgia. I just don't think right now you're on that level. I'll be very interested to see, and I talk about this more, that will drop on the podcast tomorrow. I'll be interested to see, can Shane Beamer make an early impact in this rivalry? If nothing else, can he bring competitiveness back to it? Because as I sit here right now at Tin Roof in Columbia, and it's a very uncomfortable conversation to have in regards to the rivalry and the way it has gone to this point, or at least the last 6 years. Obviously did not play last year, but, at least if nothing else in this first game for Shane Beamer, just injecting some life back into it, some competitive spirit, because for whatever reason, the previous regime, you just were unable to do that. You got pushed around, you got bullied, the games weren't close, they weren't competitive. A lot of them were over by halftime. And the previous staff, first kind of Clemson game, you lost 56-7. 56-7. I don't care how far you are from where you need to be and how much of a quote-unquote rebuild it is. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. So re-injecting some competitive spirit, some fire back in the rivalry, and just make Clemson, that'll be the goal in those two games, man. The Clemson and Georgia games, just make Clemson and Georgia sweat. I mean, take them, a 60-minute game, make it a fourth quarter game. I think that's a success. Realistically, that's being realistic. Again, I think you're far off. We can talk about Shane Beamer, we can talk about Dabo, Nick Saban, Kirby, but Jimmy's and Joe's are what win ball games. You got to have the players, and right now, South Carolina needs about 3 or 4 good recruiting classes before you start beating those guys again on an annual basis. Again, my toss-up for the season. I've got the Week 4 matchup against Kentucky as a toss-up. Tennessee's a toss-up. Florida, Missouri, and Auburn. And Florida was the last one, and that was a late addition. That was one I put in late. I had Florida as a loss, and I kind of went back on it like I talked about earlier. That game has been so competitive, so back and forth the last couple of years. And the Gamecocks have been so close. And I think the way it sets up, I think it sets up well for an upset for South Carolina. And, so I don't feel comfortable putting an L next to that one in heavy blacking. I think it could possibly be one of those games. You find a way to, like I said, they beat you 3 years in a row. It's been very close, very back and forth, very competitive. So we've got people filing in the Tin Roof, by the way. The happy hour crowd filing in the Tin Roof. So very excited. So we can get 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Taking your questions, comments, calls. Also, if you're in the bar, you want to write a question, I don't know, write it on a napkin, or I'm just coming to the table and shout it at me. That's totally fine too, whatever you want to do. But very excited for this, man. Again, appreciate Tin Roof having us out. Appreciate the people who've been rocking with us, supporting the business, supporting the content. Those who support the Big Cock Club. Without you guys, seriously, this wouldn't be possible. This wouldn't be possible to have opportunities like this. Really, really cool. So thank you guys so much. Justin Warren says 7-5 is his prediction. Losses to Georgia, Kentucky, A&M, Florida, and Clemson. But also upset possibility of Kentucky or Florida to get to 8-4. Which again, 8-4, man. I'm going to spoil it for you. I'm not picking 8-4. I think 8-4 is a little aggressive for Shane Beamer's first season. It's not impossible. I think it's a little aggressive. But, man, if we go 8-4, give Shane Beamer the National Coach of the Year accolades. Go ahead. Do it. Go ahead and give him National Coach of the Year. I just think with a program that has won 6 combined games the last 2 years, like I said, 8 wins would be incredible. Phil chimes in and says, we need Shane Beamer as a guest for TSUS Live at Tin Roof. Yeah, I think that's I feel confident, bro. I feel confident in saying that Shane Beamer will be on the airwaves at some point. I feel very confident. I think that, for those who maybe didn't know, shocker, the relationship between TSUS and the program with Will Muschamp's head coach, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best. It wasn't always the best. So, Things have drastically improved with Coach Beamer, and heck, I mean, I've had other assistant coaches reach out, wanting to come on the show, and we're getting that worked out right now. So Steve Fink, respond to my email. Just respond to the email. But no, we're getting it all worked out. But yeah, I really do believe that Shane Beamer will get gracing the airwaves at some point. I want to believe that's going to be a fact. By the way, do partake in the food and drink here. We got the loaded tots earlier. Phenomenal. That's the only thing I've eaten all day today. We've been going at it that crazy. I've had tater tots. That's my diet. We're also drinking, for those on the stream, we've got the Gatorade. A lot of vodka in this. A lot of vodka. So the most popular drink item, I was told. Very good. I see why. Those are dangerous. It's like a mini fish bowl. So, but better. Fish bowls were tough. Fish bowls were very tough. Let's see. Phil chimes in. UGA are chronic chokers. No way they win a natty. They will let their fans down. I hope you're right, Phil. I don't want to be right with Georgia, but I just look at their team. I've actually got one of my really good buddies works personnel at the University of Georgia, and I mean, I talk to him a good bit. He tells me, he's like, dude, we have all the pieces. We have all the talent. There's no reason Georgia should not be that team this year. There's just not. So, but hopefully they're not. Hopefully not. My guy Rami chimed in. Shout out Dason and Shalabi Law Firm, the newest sponsor of the Spurs Up Show. My guy Rami tunes in. He says, how do you think the carries will be split up between our running backs? That's a great question. And, you know, it's a great problem to have. You've got a running back room full of 4 or 5 different guys. You've got Marshawn Lloyd, Kevin Harris, Quandre Wright, Rashad Amos, Nathan Harris, Wayne, by the way, shout out to him. But, you know, you've got a 4-headed monster back there. And I think, you know, fans are getting really upset with the respect or lack thereof for Kevin Harris this preseason. But I'm going to tell you why I think that is. Number one, Kevin Harris is not the flashiest back in the world, right? And I think he should be preseason first team all SEC, but do not be surprised next week at SEC Media Days when it's Tank Dixon. That's all I'm saying. And it might be Isaiah Spiller second team, which is going to piss people off even more. I agree, Kevin Harris, if he played for Alabama, he'd be first team. He'd be preseason Heisman Trophy. We all get how the SEC and politics and all that works. So I understand that. But I think another reason why he's not getting quite as much love is because I think the carries are going to be split up. I think it's going to be a 1A, 1B. And, you know, last year I was so gung-ho on Marshawn Lloyd, him being the guy and getting all and being the focal point of the offense. And when he went down, I thought our offense was done for, pretty much. I thought our offense was done, you know, and it basically was. I mean, you think about last year, the offense and how they performed. You know, I thought to myself, you know, Kevin Harris had a nice game here and there in 2019, but really nothing crazy. I didn't expect a whole lot. So obviously the 2020 season that Kevin had was phenomenal. It was incredible. But, you know, I think the carries will be split up. I think it'll be 1A, 1B. But here's the thing. If Marshawn Lloyd is the guy that South Carolina recruited him to be, he's the best running back on the roster. And he's better than Kevin Harris. And again, I know we all love Kevin. That's no disrespect to Kevin. Again, this is a great problem for Carolina to have. I mean, it's been quite a while, maybe since Lattimore, Mike Davis. I mean, it's been since then that South Carolina's had this true 1-2 punch at the running back position. So it's a great problem you have, but I think the carries will be split. I don't know. Certainly, I don't think both get over 1,000. The question is, which one of them gets over 1,000? Which back goes for over 1,000? Is it Lloyd or is it Harris? I think Lloyd is going to be much more your, you know, outside of the tackles, outside of the tackles, kind of big play threat, home run threat, if you will. Kevin Harris is going to be much more, you know, between the tackles, obviously third and short. You know, obviously if it's 3rd and 1, 4th and inches, the guy who won't get the ball is Kevin Harris, and the guy I think will get the ball is Kevin Harris. I'm really excited to see how Satterfield and Beamer, how they're going to use both guys at the same time. I think getting in a 2-back set, I've been doing it a lot in NCAA football, by the way. It's a lot of fun. It is. Threw a touchdown to Marshawn Lloyd last night, playing against FCS Midwest on Heisman. So really fun stuff. But no, I think it's a great problem to have. I think this coaching staff, they will find a way to best use those guys. But I'm looking at it as a 1A, 1B. I think you'll see one guy will probably get 22 to 24 carries. I think the other you'll see get 14 to 16. I mean, I think you're Carolina, again, you're ready to run the ball 50 to 60 times a game. Bottom line. I think you're going to have to run the ball that much. I think you need to get 70-30 at least. Run the pass. Luke Doty, you said athleticism. I think he's going to run the football himself. I'd say 5 to 10 times a game. The guy runs a 4.4. So use his athleticism. Pick and choose your spots in the passing game. Pass when it's there, but obviously your receivers are a deficiency. You've got 4 or 5 starters returning on the offensive line. So again, Rami, I appreciate the question, my guy. You got to come out here sometime. I don't know where Rami's at. I don't know what he's doing. He's his own boss. Oh, there he is. I'm about to say, where are you at? There he is, on the other side of the bar. He's just messing with me. He didn't want to walk up here and just yell the question himself. Good question, Robbie. Seriously. Good question, seriously. Now, if I had to pick one of the two guys, I'll go with Kevin Harris to be the 1,000-yard back, but I'm telling you, it would not shock me at all if Marshawn Lloyd, as long as he's 110% healthy, which you wonder how much of a step has he lost. Because unfortunately we saw Marcus Lattimore and you come off that ACL and do you trust it? That's going to be the big thing. Can you take a hit? What's it going to be like when you take that first hit? As long as he can cut, though, I think even like a 90% Marshawn Lloyd is going to be one of the best backs in the SEC. So right now I'd say it's Harris over 1,000, but you never know. I'm excited to see Lloyd in the backfield too. So 843-790-3377, guys. Again, appreciate you all tuning in. Appreciate everybody coming out of the Tin Roof. This is awesome. This is really good. Really good stuff. Appreciate y'all coming out. Like I said, tip your bartenders for sure. Incredible staff here at Tin Roof. Great food, great drink, great company. So great time as well. USC Insider, appreciate you tuning in as always. When you asked me to give them a shout out, why not? Let's see. Tons of questions. Trying to scroll through these. Again, like I said, going back to the wins, losses, and toss-up stuff. And I feel like this is stating the obvious, and maybe for some it's not. It's going to come down to the toss-ups for this South Carolina football season, just like it does each and every single season. That 4, I listed Florida as well, but really mainly the 4 of Kentucky, Missouri, Tennessee, and Auburn. Can you go 2-2 or better in those 4 games? Can you go 2-2 or better? Because I've listed my 4 wins: EIU, ECU, Vandy, and Troy. If you lose to ECU in week 2, you have bigger issues than any of them toss-up games. All of a sudden, you're just fighting for 5 wins. You are. Let's just call it what it is. You are. That's a must-win. It's a game you have to have. There's a reason I listed it as my most important game of the 2021 season. But assuming you take care of business, assuming you get to what I've got you at, which is 4-2, and again, for those who may have missed it, so we can really piss everybody off when I tell them my Kentucky prediction. I've got 4-2 to the first 6. I've got Carolina beating EIU 41-7. Beating ECU 28-24, losing to Georgia 38-17 in week 3, losing to Kentucky at home 27-23, then South Carolina beating Troy 35-17, and then beating Tennessee in Knoxville in a thriller 31-28. And I don't think there's any fans that would complain about 4-2 through the first 6. Again, a program that won 2 games last year, combined 6 games the last 2 years. I don't see anyone that would be upset with a 4-2 start, even if it included a loss to Kentucky. And again, tomorrow's show, like I said, we recorded it earlier today. You guys will know, again, by the time we do this next week at Tin Roof, you'll know my full season predictions. You already know them. You'll know by this time next week, you'll know my season predictions for South Carolina, where I think they're going to finish in the East, the whole East and West standings. So going to be a lot of fun, man. Again, like I said, 52 days away to kick off. Obviously, things are rocking and rolling right now. I've been joking with people all week. The football season for me started Monday. So, the content is bleeding out of the eyeballs right now, folks, as we have people walking up, taking pictures, and just trying to distract me from the task at hand. No, I'm kidding. It's fine. But again, appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Seriously, 843-790-3377. You can call, you can text. If you're here in person, appreciate y'all coming out. I don't know the last time I was at Tin Roof when the sun was still out. I don't know. It's been a while. Feels good, though. It honestly feels really, really good. But yeah, again, appreciate y'all coming out. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Let's see. Justin says he expects 50% of the carries to go to Kevin Harris, 30% go to Marshawn Lloyd, 10% Luke Doty, and 10% Zaquandre White. You see, that's a guy, too. That's one of those dark horse guys, sort of an X factor, if you will, that Zaquandre White looked incredible in the spring game. Looked incredible. Big-time player, man. You see certain guys that have that burst They have that athleticism. They have that speed, that breakaway speed. I thought Corny, he reminded me a lot of, and I don't want to necessarily compare him to this guy, but Corey Boyd, the way he finished runs and ran through tackles and plays the game sort of mean. And obviously, he has the swag with the grill, and it's just, he's an incredible human being. Hell of a follow on Instagram, too, by the way. But, an incredible human being, man. So, an incredible player, too. I expect big things from him, but you have a great problem on your hands, which is you have a lot of really talented backs. That is the one position unit outside of defensive line. I'd say D-line and running back. Those are your two strengths. Those two position units, you have got a ton of talent at both of those. I'll say this, the previous staff, they did a phenomenal job recruiting both running backs and defensive linemen. So you got a lot of guys who you have a lot of guys that need the football, that want the football, and only so many carries to give away. Just looking here on Twitter, by the way, Kevin Bilodeau, I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Danny Lloyd, Gamecock's pitcher, says today he thinks he's going to go pro after being drafted by the Orioles. He looked back at what his time in Columbia meant. Yeah, so it sounds like Danny's going pro, so that's another one. So I think Julian Bostic might be the only guy to return next season from your draftees. And again, I get that for Danny Lloyd. I get that. Danny's a great kid, man. Was able to make friends with his family while he was here. And, the Lloyd family, they're incredible people. And Danny, I thought, had a really good career at South Carolina. And, really, he saw the best of times and the worst of times when it came to Carolina baseball. Was a freshman in 2019, was forced into a starting role on Friday nights as a true freshman because of the injury to Carmen Majinski. And, I thought he held his own as good as he could. And obviously, he went through the COVID season. And this year, I thought he was a really, really good arm for South Carolina, especially down the stretch. I think in that regional where he shut down Virginia, made himself a lot of money in that one. So it sounds like Danny Lloyd will sign with the Baltimore Orioles. And I figured it'd be a case of money. If they gave him the right offer, he would take it. So it looks like the Gamecocks will have to replace yet another pitcher. 6 of the 8, by the way, that were drafted were pitchers. So it goes to show you how good this pitching staff was this previous season for Gamecocks baseball. Shout out, by the way, he tried to sneak in. He thought I didn't see him. Kirk Hollingsworth, legendary Gamecock fan in the corner in the booth over there. 44, my bad. 344 straight South Carolina football games. That includes home and away. That includes bowl games. Doesn't matter where they were playing. Hey, that includes COVID. So, big ups to Kirk. Appreciate you, Kirk. And I'm very blessed to call Kirk Hollingsworth a friend, man. It's crazy. Kirk and I met, 2013. My best friend, Tripp Warwick, shameless plug to him, moved in right by the stadium over there and met Kirk and been buddies ever since. So, way pre-TSUS days. I'll never forget sitting with Kirk in the upper deck. I think it was the 2017 South Carolina Florida game. And I was trying to shoot video of Jake Bentley for my 50 followers on Twitter. So, good times, Kirk. Really good times. Really good times. And Kirk's also seen the best of times and worst of times with the Spurs Up show. If you live on Gamecock Twitter, you've seen some very interesting moments for all of us. That is for sure. Phil Harris says, and I'll give this shout out to him, we want Delp. Yes, Oscar Delp. He says, do you think he'd get that kind of love at UGA? Hell no, Oscar. You're just going to be a guy at UGA. At Carolina, you will be a dude. Yeah, the recruiting effort to get Oscar Delp has been absolutely incredible. It's been amazing. And it just goes to show you, I talk about Gamecock Twitter and the good sides of it, the bad sides of it. When Gamecock Nation comes together for a common cause, if you will, we can make things happen, no doubt. And I'll tell you what, if Oscar Delp, if he does not pick South Carolina, it's not for our lack of trying. That is for sure. I think Gamecock fans have done an incredible job in regards to voicing, their, our want of him to wear the garnet in black and come be a guy because his family is USC alums. And, I know he's got ties to University of Georgia. I guess he grew up a Georgia fan. He grew up in the state of Georgia, but he's got USC ties with his family. And, why not? Well, come home, man. Come home. Be a legend. You can go to Georgia and be a number, or you can come to USC and be a name. It's kind of the way I look at it. So why not? Greg Bedgers, that's 31 plus years. That's really good. Kirk's in conversation right now, but I think the first game was 84. I think 1984 was his first game. Started the streak, 344 straight Gabe, that is a lot of bad football, though. It's a lot of, yeah, just call it what it is, a lot of bad football. It's a lot of bad football. Hey, guys, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Again, we have just hit 6 o'clock. Hour 1 is in the books. I'm just going to go 2 hours, just straight, no break, nothing. This is a great prep for the Daily Crow, by the way, which if you didn't know, the Daily Crow probably, I'm thinking right now, the second week of August. I think the second week of August. Yeah, second week. I think August 15th or so. We are actually going to be expanding the Daily Crow from 1 hour a day to 2 hours per day. So instead of 12 to 1, it will be 12 to 2. We'll be live every single day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 2. I'm actually planning on incorporating, not just for this, by the way, we're going to have at some point guests come by to Tin Roof, guys that play football at South Carolina, those who are personalities in Columbia, Noah at some point. Might get up here behind the mic and talk a little Chicago Bears. Nobody wants to hear about the Bears. Nobody cares. About the Bears, yeah, about the misery of the Bears. Imagine being, I'm not a big NFL guy. Thank God, because the people I meet, like Kirk over here, he's a Gamecocks and a Falcons fan. And I just can't fathom that much heartbreak and misery in my life. The Gamecocks make it tough enough at times. So, and the Bears, yes, Doink Job, Central, just the Bears, Mitch Trubisky, we can just go on like the Bears. But, yeah, I actually don't even have really an NFL team. I lived in Charlotte for 4 years, but I moved there August of 2015. They went 15-1. I kind of just jumped on the bandwagon. After that, though, I couldn't claim to. I knew in my heart of hearts I wasn't really a Panthers fan. My dad grew up a Dolphins fan. My dad's a Dolphins fan. My little brother's a Dolphins fan. But again, that's another franchise with it's just misery. It's just pure misery. I'm like, I already have to do this every Saturday. Why would I want to do it every Sunday too? I really don't get people how they do it back-to-back days. And go that hard both days. I just don't understand it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not built for it. But again, appreciate y'all tuning in, man. We got tons of texts coming in right now. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. 843-790-3377. Sorry, guys. We got a couple of texts coming in on the text line. Let's see, yeah. So like I said, 4-2 the first 6. I think that would be a really good start for Shane Beamer. You're 2 games away from getting to a bowl game. I don't know how a Carolina fan could complain about that type of start in the first season. I had some people saying, we need to, we need to be striving to win the SEC. And while that's true, while that's very fair, year 1 of Shane Beamer, again, 6 combined wins in the last 2 seasons. Let's try to keep it realistic. Let's try to keep things in perspective and understand it's going to be a process. It's going to be a work in progress for Shane Beamer. We got to give him time. Let him sort this thing out. Let him get his players in there. Let him instill his culture, instill his system. Let's let him do that. And I think you're going to really like where we are, say, 3, 4, 5 years from now. I think so. So, very excited for what Shane Beamer's building, man. Like I said, tomorrow's show will reveal the predictions for the final 6 games of the 2021 season. Very excited for that. Scores, everything else, everything we need to know about that one. Also, college football news. They put out their predictions for South Carolina. They got the Gamecocks 5-7, 2-6 in conference. They've got South Carolina beating EIU and ECU, losing to Georgia, beating Kentucky and Troy. So they've got the Gamecocks starting at 4-1. 4-1. Columbia will be shaking if South Carolina is 4-1. They then got the Gamecocks losing to Tennessee, though, to drop to 4-2, then beating Vandy. So they got basically exactly what I have, except the reverse of the Kentucky and Tennessee game. So 5-2. They've got South Carolina 5-2 or 7. They've got them losing 5 straight. Losses to A&M, Florida, Mizzou, Auburn, and Clemson. And unfortunately, we've seen Gamecock football seasons go that way before. My mind goes back to 2007 when Steve Spurrier's Gamecocks started the season 6-1 and lost the final 5 games to finish 6-6. And of course, that was that 2007 season where basically everybody that was ranked in the top 5 lost each and every single week. I'll never forget 6-1 hosting the Vanderbilt Commodores at Willie B, and you lose to Vanderbilt. That was actually, I believe, let's see, that wasn't the last time. I think Vandy beat you again in 2009. You haven't lost them since. It's been 12 straight years that you have beaten Vandy. Maybe it was 2008 they beat you. Either way, it's been a long freaking time. It's been a long, long, long time since Vanderbilt has beaten South Carolina. Again, guys, 843-790-3371. Again, appreciate all you guys coming out. If you're here in person, you have a question, you can text it into that number. Again, 843-790-3377. You can write it on a napkin. You can come yell it at me. You can do whatever you like, whatever it is. Taking all the questions, comments, everything else. And what's really been a blessing, man, what's really been incredible, again, most people look at, it's July the 14th, 2021. It's the summer. People are like, oh, it's the dead of summer. There's nothing going on. It's the off season, blah, blah, blah. Dude, content is rolling. Content is freaking rolling. There's so much going on. Even just today with, like I said, waking up and the Skyler Mead news happening, the Mike Wyman news happening. JJ Igbare has changed his number. He's wearing number 1 this year, which is awesome. We love to see big dudes and little numbers. It's incredible. Especially when you think Javon Kinlaw rocking the 3. Now we got JJ Igbare rocking number 1. We got Jaheim Bell rocking 0 this year. Here's another interesting tidbit. Speaking on the football side of things, SEC Media Days on Monday. Very excited. I don't know about you guys. I love SEC Media Days. Again, to me, that is the official kickoff for football season. I think without a doubt, that is the kickoff for football season in my mind. The Gamecocks announcing who they will be taking to Hoover, Alabama. Their 2-player representatives are going to be tight end Nick Muse and defensive lineman JJ Igbare. And I think those were really good picks. I think some people are surprised that Kevin Harris isn't going. But you also have to factor in, do these guys like talking to the media? Are they the most outgoing type of guys in the world? And I don't know if Kevin is really outspoken guy or really wants to be behind the mic or in front of the cameras or deal with the media, if you will. Nick Muse is the perfect guy. He's just laugh out loud funny. Obviously made a stir on Instagram over the weekend. I don't know if you saw that, Noah. Just everybody losing their minds over what he posted on Instagram with his silly pose, if you will, whatever. I know some people got upset about it. I thought it was just a kid being a kid, man. It's stupid. It's silly. It's a picture on a Saturday in July. You know what I mean? I think it's a great guy. I think it's a no-brainer pick to send Nick Muse to SEC Media Days. It was announced today also Shane Beamer will speak Monday at 4 o'clock. So the plan is I'm planning on being in studio watching that. We'll be obviously tweeting it, live streaming it, doing whatever. We'll be covering it. That's all you got to know. But Shane Beamer will speak 4 o'clock Monday afternoon. He'll be the 3rd coach. I believe he follows up. I know Ed Orgeron is going to be before him. I don't know if it's Dan Mullen or somebody else. But Ed Orgeron will speak before him at 4 o'clock. Shane Beamer will speak in the afternoon. Those guys will be making their rounds in the media until 7 o'clock in Hoover, Alabama. Justin Langford texts in and says, how do you feel about who's going to media days with Coach? Again, I just mentioned, I love it. I think Nick Muse is, for me, for somebody who is going to be looking to media days for content, laugh out loud funny. Nick Muse, I expect, is going to use that platform, that opportunity to say some really ridiculous, absurd nonsense, which hopefully it's not too much of nonsense, but it's just Nick being Nick. He's big Nick energy is I think, the shirt we want you to roll with. I think that's a great pick. And then JJ Igbare, man, really, really well-spoken dude. Obviously, one of your top guys, probably a first-rounder in the NFL draft next year. Maybe the Bears should think about it. I don't know. 10. As high as 10th in a mock draft. So, really good player. JJ Igbare is a fantastic player. Really well-spoken kid. Seems to get along well with the media. Like I said, that is something that when you're doing these SEC Media Day appearances and stuff like that, it is really, really important. So I think the picks were great. Like I said, I would have loved to have seen Kevin Harris going. I think it would have been a good idea to send Kevin Harris just to, again, we talk about the lack of respect he gets. And I think it'd be great to kind of pump up Kevin and kind of get his campaign going. Not necessarily Kevin Harris for Heisman or anything, but just, get his name out there, give him more attention, more exposure. But I don't think Kevin Harris is a guy. I don't think he really needs it. I don't think he minds. I think he's kind of a lunch pail dude, just shows up, takes care of his business, does his job, ho-hum goes about his way. But no, I like the picks. I like the picks overall. Seth Quarles says, love the show. Appreciate you, Seth. Appreciate y'all tuning in. So, Phil, this is actually a different Noah, by the way. There's two Noahs. Two Noahs with TSUS. This is Noah. I'm not even going to say your last name. Patheja. See, I've been saying Pathea for 3 years. Patheja. This is the writer Noah. Canadian Cock Talk is the other Noah. Merch Noah. We should just call him Merch Noah. That's really what he's going to be doing when he gets here. Merch Noah. Yeah. So the other Noah will be here. He's going to be a freshman at Carolina, believe it or not. He's actually living at Union. Yes. So small world. Small world. Grayson Haney says, what are your predictions for our offense's points per game? Now, this is a good question. This is a really good question because you're going to notice a trend when I release the rest of my predictions tomorrow. You're going to notice a trend. Because I picked in the first 6 games, South going to score 41, 28, 17, 23, 35, and 31, which pretty good. That's pretty good for an inexperienced quarterback in Luke Doty, Shane Beamer's first season, Marcus Satterfield's first season. Those numbers are not too shabby at all. I actually think, and again, starting next week, of course, we're going to be talking SEC Media Days and all that. Also starting next week, though, on the podcast at least, and really just throughout, we're going to start breaking down the units as a whole. So offense, defense, special teams. Then for the next 4 weeks, I think, or so after that, we're going to move into position unit previews where I'll literally go through, quarterback, receiver, O-line, D-line, tight end, running back, all that. We're going to break down those position units, each and every single player. We're going to grade them. We're going to talk about them. We're going to dissect them. And if you've been following TSUS for a couple of years or even since last year or whatever, you know that's kind of what we do with the preseason. That's how we sort of build up to kickoff. But so offensively, we'll talk a lot more about the offense in detail on Monday's show. But I actually feel good about the offense. I do. I don't know that, game one, we're going to be clicking on all cylinders or anything, but I think the injection of Luke Doty, a true mobile quarterback, a true dual threat quarterback, and we're talking about a guy that runs a 4.4 40-yard dash. He is one of the fastest players on the team, if not the fastest. I would like to think Amarian Brown's got him beat for that now. But we're talking about a guy that runs a 4.4. And while the receiver position is going to be a major deficiency, and it is, let's just call it what it is. It is. You got a lot of bodies there until somebody steps up. It is a major deficiency. It's an area of concern. I think the running game with 4 or 5 starters in the offensive line returning, with Marshawn Lloyd, Kevin Harris, Rashad Amos, Zaquandre White, and the athleticism of Luke Doty. And you are going to have talented guys like Amarian Brown and E.J. Jenkins and Xavier Legette and Josh Vann and Rico Powers, Jakari Caldwell, Omega. You just go down the list. Dak Joyner, Jalen Brooks. I'm not even mentioning those guys. You have plenty of bodies there. I think you'll get just enough out of the passing game. But I think the insertion of Luke Doty, a true dual threat quarterback, keeping defenses honest. What? Oh, see. I thought Kirk was yelling a question to tell me I was wrong. By all means, Kirk, go ahead. Anyways, though, I think the insertion of Luke Doty, having a true dual threat quarterback, a guy, again, that can keep defenses honest, I think that is going to pay off huge dividends. It's going to change everything for South Carolina. We haven't had that in so long, a true dual threat quarterback. We haven't had it. And, the offensive line gets beat up very badly, especially statistically. I mean, the stats were rough in regards to pass protection. We were bad in pass pro. When you look statistically in a 10-game season, what did we do? 26 sacks, brutal, not good. But you know what killed this offensive line? They take a lot of the blame for it. When you have a guy back there, like a Colin Hill, that, hey, all due respect to Colin Hill, love Colin Hill. Hey, he's getting paid to play football right now. Signed with the Cincinnati Bengals, pushing Joe Burrow for his job. So, when you have a guy like Colin Hill, though, that has brick shoes on and cannot get out of the pocket, he cannot scramble, he's not even agile. Calling him mobile would be a complete disrespect to that word. When you have a guy like that and you're getting behind the sticks on first and second down, which South Carolina was doing very often last year, it just completely kills your offense and any chances of having offensive productivity. So I think having Luke Doty, like I said, I think you'll see those sack numbers go down because you're going to have a guy that's going to be able to scramble, get outside the pocket, and make things happen with his legs. And again, too, you think this, which I'm really glad there hasn't been as much of a conversation about the QB1 position as I expected it to be. Because I thought people were going to be making that a huge deal and going crazy over it. Jason Brown. And hey, may the best man win that competition. But Luke Doty's QB1. And when you really think critically about South Carolina offensively this year, when you look ahead, September the 4th and throughout this entire season, what you can expect from the Gamecocks offensively, right? I think this is going to be a staff and what I'm excited about, I think what fans are really excited about when it comes to Shane Beamer and Satterfield and his offense and the identity is I think this is going to be a staff that is not so stubborn, stuck on a system, and is going to, come hell or high water, play their system no matter what. I think they're going to devise an offensive scheme that best fits the talent that they have on the roster. I don't think that's always been the case. I think there's been a lot of issues, a lot of times of trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, and it just has not worked for South Carolina. So when you look at this offense, I think you're looking at an offense, again, it's going to run the football 70% of the time. I'm anybody in here listening in Tin Roof or anybody tuned in the live stream, I'll go out on the limb right now. I think in games where South Carolina throws the football 30 times or more, you lose every single one of them. Then you're going to have to run the football. You're going to have to run the football. You're going to have to be stubborn in the running game to win. You just are. And so if you're talking about two quarterbacks, one is really mobile, really agile, and isn't quite the passer that the other is, but he has the athleticism. To me, that guy is a much better fit than the guy who, yes, maybe he has a better arm. Maybe he does, which I think, again, this is a whole other conversation about Luke Doty and his throwing ability, and I think one of the worst narratives surrounding Gamecocks football is that Luke Doty can't throw the ball. Come on, it's not. I challenge you to watch the spring game film again. I challenge you to watch the spring game again. It's just a complete fallacy. So, but Jason Brown, let's say he's a better thrower of the football, lacks that mobility, if you will. But which guy is going to more benefit you? When the wide receiver position is a deficiency, there's going to be a lot of times more often than not. Guess what, guys? If it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, you have to throw it. Guess what's going to happen a lot of the time? Luke Doty, Jason Brown, heck, Colton Gothier. I don't know. Whoever's back there, they're going to drop back. They're going to look, and guess what? Nobody's going to be open. Nobody's going to be open because your receiving position right now, you don't have an Alshon Jeffrey. You don't have an Ace Sanders. You don't have a Bruce Ellington. Heck, you don't have a Shai Smith. You don't have a Debo. You don't have a Brian Edwards, at least right now. So what's going to happen? You're going to have to get outside the pocket, and you're going to have to improvise. And who's the one guy on the roster who can do that and make things happen when the play breaks down? It's Luke Doty. What's up?
So this kind of goes back to that. So in the first two games, was Eastern Illinois and East Carolina, do you think that South Carolina is just going to ground and pound it, just play conservative, go for a low-scoring, long-run game? But do you think they're really just going to open up the passing game, test Luke Doty's arm, and see what these receivers can do, and try to go high-flying offense against easier teams?
Yeah. So the question was this for those who are maybe on the live stream or even in Tin Roof that could not hear. Noah was saying, does he, basically, long story short, does he expect South Carolina the first two games against EIU and ECU to be ground and pound, committed to the run, or open it up against those, I guess, maybe smaller teams? I don't want to be disrespectful to the opponent, but try to open it up and see if you could build something in the passing game for the rest of the season. I tend to think this is, like I said, going back to I just tend to think this is going to be a coaching staff that's going to play to their strengths. I think you have to play to your strengths. I understand wanting to get the passing game going. And I'm not saying in week 1 and even week 2 we're going to run the ball 90% of the time, but I think it's going to start with the running game. Certainly week 1 against EIU is going to give you that opportunity to you would like to think stretch the field and build up some confidence in the passing game. My biggest question is this: against EIU, how much are we really going to learn about this team after that week? You know what I mean? Like, even if you throw for 250 or 300, does that really mean that, oh my God, our passing game is just that much better than we thought, or this guy's that, or this guy's that? But it will be great for building confidence. You want to go out there and you want to see maybe guys like I mean, of course, Amari Brown, E.J. Jenkins, but maybe guys like Dak Joyner, guys like Jalen Brooks, guys that start to build some confidence. So I think certainly in that first week, I think you'll see them throw the football. Again, I think it's just going to call by the opponent the situation. You look at week 2 against ECU, again, I've talked about how important that game is. Here's a key stat for you. East Carolina last year gave up 201 yards per game rushing. So if I'm Marcus Satterfield, if I'm Shane Beaver, and hey, I've talked about all preseason, ECU has 20 of 22 starters back. They got 10 of 11 starters back on that defense, but it's 10 of 11 starters back on a defense that gave up like 36 points per game and 201 yards per game on the ground. I am licking my chops if I'm Kevin Harris and Marshawn Boyd. Now, again, with that being said, you're going to have to throw the football at some point. I mean, you got to keep defenses honest. You cannot let people just stack the box and play one-on-one on the outside on you all night long. So, to answer your question, again, I think they're going to do what the situation calls for. I mean, I think that, but you got to play to your strengths. I think they're going to run the football first. I think this will be a run-first team. But certainly against EIU, if nothing else in week 1, I think you'll see them try to take some shots. But you'd like to think, I mean, guys like, again, Amari Brown and Dak Joyner, Jalen Brooks, you're going to have guys that have the athleticism on the outside to win their matchups. I mean, there's no question. I mean, your guys are better than EIU's players. They just are. It's an FCS team. No disrespect. And again, like I'm a big believer in, respect the opponent, but EIU folks enjoy it. 7 o'clock kickoff, September the 4th at Willie B. That is the one game this season I feel like we can all roll into, we can all tailgate, we can all stroll into Willie B and say, you know what? We can all cut on the TV if you're not going to be there, and we can say, you know what? I know for a fact my team's going to win tonight, and that feels pretty damn good. That feels good. Because I don't know there's another one that you're going to be able to like wake up on Saturday and say, you know what? 100% chance we win the game. 100%. So enjoy it. But I think you'll be able to take advantage. I think that's going to be a name your score type of game, empty the bench type of game, do really whatever you want type of game. I think South Bend is going to control the line of scrimmage most certainly, and I think it's going to be a fun night to be a Gamecock for sure. But again, getting back to your question, I think certainly in that first week you'd like to see them try to do some things in the passing game, but you don't really. I think in week 2, especially, ECU, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll win that game by 21 points. It'll just be a fun day. I hope so. Again, I'm going to Greenville. I can't wait for it. But I don't think week 2 is going to be a game where you can say, oh, how do we want to win? No, you just better win. You just better do whatever you got to do to win. It don't matter how you win. There are no style points. Bro, get to 6 wins no matter how you do it. Doesn't matter. Don't matter I don't care if we throw 10 passes all year. As long as we win 6 games or more, I'm content. I'm ecstatic with that. But yeah, certainly. I mean, there's going to come, there's going to come a point, probably week 2, you're going to have to throw the ball. I mean, it's not going to be 2nd and 2 or 3rd and 1 every drive. I mean, you're going to get into situations where, hey, it's 3rd and 7 or 8, and we can't just run a draw. You're going to have to find a way to throw the football. Keith says a lot of 2-back RPO. Yeah, I think the RPO is going to be a very big part of our offense. Very big part. Like I said, I think that, and if you can establish that run, running the football can open up the passing game. You get those. I mean, I know the guy hasn't suited up for 1 game in South Carolina, but I feel pretty good. I don't know if you've met him in person. I've actually gotten the opportunity to meet E.J. Jenkins in person. This dude's a monster. He's a monster. I feel pretty good E.J. Jenkins in a one-on-one. I feel confident throwing it up to him. 6'7.5", 250 or whatever he is. He's a beast. Boom, I got you. If you get one-on-one coverage, but I think that's going to have to be how you're going to have to be in the passing game. You're going to have to be choosy. You're going to have to be selective. Pick and choose your spots. Pick and choose your matchups. Where, hey, if you got Amari Brown on the outside and their guy runs a 4.55 and our guy runs a 4.45, you say, boom, we've got it. Let's hot route. Let's go. Be very strategic about it. Be very strategic. But in games where South kind of can't run the football, they just won't win. They won't win. Bottom. You're going to have to run the football to win. Bottom. That's going to be your bread and butter. So again, 843-790-3377. Again, good question. That is a good question. I do think certainly, hopefully, week 1, we see something. Because it's kind of one of those things, right? If you can't pass in week 1, I mean, it's only going to get tougher, right? I mean, I don't think EIU is going to be the best. If I had to rank the secondaries, you're going to see this season from best to worst. Yeah, I think EIU is probably 14 or 12, I should say. 12. I think they're probably the worst secondary you'll see. So if you can't pass on that one, it is going to be a rough time. Clone Phil is in the live chat. Clone Phil is here. Let's see. Phil Harris says, I don't see how we can run the ball 70% and be successful on offense. Must have more balance. Phil, I hear what you're saying. Okay, if you want to call it 65-35, you want to split hairs, so be it. But I think that we got more locals piling in to Tin Roof. Yes, sir. Deadly duo over there. No, I just think you're going to have to run the football, Phil. I think you're going to have to lean on the running game, which is okay. I mean, ideally, Phil, of course, we'd all love to be 50-50. We'd all love to be 50-50 in the run and the pass. But realistically, you got to lean on your strength. I mean, I was going to use last year as an example, but that was bad. Look back to 2013, 2012, 2011, when Connor Shaw was your quarterback. Those teams were not 50-50 throw to pass. Those teams were very 60-40 run to pass. They were very 60-40 with Connor Shaw and Marcus Lattimore and Kenny Miles and Mike Davis. You know, people think of Steve Spurrier, they think of this air raid, fun and gun, we're going to throw it all over the yard. No. What's crazy about Steve Spurrier is just like every other great coach, he evolved. He evolved during his time at South Carolina. He won in his tenure at South Carolina when he won big from 10-13. Steve Spurrier won with running game and defense. Yes, they had great receivers on the outside. I'm not taking away from that. But they won with running game and a dominant, a suffocating defense. We posted the countdown clip today, 52 days away till kickoff. We've been posting every single day on social media, counting down to kickoff till September the 4th. The one I posted today was from the 2011 Vanderbilt game where Stephen Garcia, nice little dump ball from the screen pass to Marcus Lattimore. He takes it to the house for a 52-yard touchdown. Garcia jokingly DM'd me and said, I played like shit that game. I can say that, right? Said I played like shit that game. And you look at the stats. Garcia threw 4 interceptions. Nobody remembers that. You know what they remember about that game? We held Vanderbilt to like 103 yards of offense. That was the key. That was the key. So I think, you're going to be on one side or the other in regards to pass or run. I think you're at least going to be 65-35 when it comes to run to pass. And I think you need to be that. Like I said, I think you have to be that to have success. I think you do. You got to play to your strengths, man. You cannot, like I said, you cannot try to shove a square peg into a round hole. You got to play to your strengths, and that is running the football. Again, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. If you're in the building, if you got a question, you can write it on a napkin. You can text it in, by the way. I think that's probably the best way to do it. You can text it in to 843-790-3377, or you can come up to the booth and just yell it at me, and we'll just go from there, right? So, like I said, this is the first time out, man. I'm very excited to do this week after week after week. You're having a good time, and the time is just honestly flying by. It's already 6:30. We've got only 30 minutes left. So if you have a question, get it in. If you have a question, get it in. Let's see. So for those who don't know, I'm going to give the folks on my live stream in the Big Cock Club Discord a quick shout out. For those who don't know, hopefully our sound guy Phil and yours truly, we don't have to experience this. So Phil will probably get a crack out of this. So as Phil knows, and as any of us know who deal with technology on a day-to-day basis, technology is great until it isn't. Mike's cutting it out, sound screws up, live streams mess up, Wi-Fi, God forbid, goes out. And my audience loves to refer to it, whenever we have those technical issues, they refer to it as the Muschamp hackers have infiltrated the live stream or the podcast or whatever, the Muschamp hackers. So just saw a comment about Muschamp hackers, and thankfully, I think sound guy Phil's immune from the Muschamp hackers. I don't think Muschamp hackers will be, I don't think they'll be coming into Tin Roof anytime soon. I don't think so. I think we're fine. I think we're good. I don't want to test the Muschamp hackers though. I really don't. I really don't. Let's see. We had a question. Brian Lowe says we can get tons of rushing yards against EIU and ECU, causing Georgia to bring their DBs down to stifle the run and for sure open it up for one-on-ones and torch them until they drop back, and then it's time for thunder and lightning. Well, I don't think it really matters what you do in the first 2 weeks. I think Georgia and every team you play is going to say, hey, we're going to take away Kevin Harris. That's our goal. We're going to take away Kevin Harris. We're going to take away Marshawn Lloyd. We are going to make you throw the football. If I'm a defensive coordinator, that's how I'm attacking South Carolina. Hey, I got 5 down linemen. I'm bringing up my linebackers. I'm bringing up my safeties. 1 high safety. Luke Doty, you have to beat us. Kevin Harris and Marshawn Lloyd will not beat us. You have to beat us. Bottom line. So, yeah, you're going to have to find a way to do that, bottom line. There are going to be times where, if you're going to beat a team like Georgia, God forbid, which, like I said, I don't see it happening, but you're going to have to throw the football. You're going to have to throw the football, bottom line. So, let's see. 843-790-3377. Again, guys, somebody asked USC Insider, said, are the drinks flowing this afternoon? They are indeed flowing. Like I said, if you're out here, this Gatorade, incredible, really, really good drink. My guy Grossi doing a fantastic job behind the bar. Make sure you tip your bartenders. Get the food, too. I'm probably going to get some. Yeah, tip the bartenders. Yes, I agree. Food out here is incredible, too. I haven't eaten a ton, but I just had the loaded tots before this. Fantastic. Probably going to get some food after this as well. Also, be sure to, I think they just rolled in, but open mic night tonight, 7 to 9. A lot of great events. Be sure to check the Tin Roof website. Check their social media. That's where you can really follow, man, is the social media. These guys do a fantastic job in regards to, putting on events. Every single night there's something going on. Also, if you're tuned in and you are a student and you're 21, but you're a student, come on out. That's a good time. It's a good place to have a good time. That's for sure. Great place to have a great time. No doubt. No doubt. Again, guys, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Like I said, guys, appreciate the fine folks over at Tin Roof having us out. This has been incredible. We've got less than 30 minutes to go. The plan for this also probably starting next week. I'm sure we can talk to Corey on this. I think he already knows. But we're going to have some guests out here at some point. We're going to have some guests. A couple of my buddies are going to roll out here. I already talked to Perry Orr, my buddy John Strickland. Who knows? Maybe old Steven Garcia will grace the airwaves down here. I don't know. I don't know. No, we're planning on having guests, though. Going to be a really, really good time. Former Gamecocks, maybe some coaches. You never know. Maybe Shane Beamer will be sitting in this chair right here. Maybe so. Kirk, you think you can hook that up? Carolina Calls, the pre-show? The pregame to Carolina Calls. This is Carolina Calls Unleashed. Carolina Calls, the Raw edition. Yeah. Hey, we can just talk about throwing the tight end all night. Just talk about that. I was thinking about making a hat that says "throw over the tight end more," just for fun. There's always that one guy that calls in and wants to know, Coach, when are we going to throw over the tight end more? I don't know. But he's taking a tight end with him to SEC Media Days. Nick Muse will be heading down to Hoover Monday to chat with me. Again, like Phil said, I think earlier, it is talking season. That's what we're doing tonight, 5 to 7 each and every single Wednesday. Very excited for this, man. This is cool. This is awesome. Let's see. Denton Ray says, you say 50 to 60 rushing attempts a game, which means our quarterback will attempt 10 to 15 passes a game based on last year's average plays a game, which is 67. Is our offense going to look like Georgia Tech? No. So 50 to 60 might be a little bit much. Maybe 40 to 50. I'm thinking of running 80 plays in the game. You like to run 80 plays, right? Spread offense, up tempo. Can you get 70 to 80 plays? I think just 70% of the time you want to be running the football. And yeah, I think you're going to want to use Luke Doty in the running game. I think that's very obvious. You want to use Luke Doty in the running game, no question. So yeah, I'd expect South Carolina, like I said, to run it 40 to 50 times a game. I think you're going to pass the football. I think the perfect game is you run it 46 or 47 times, you throw it 22 to 24 times. You rush for 300, you throw for 200. If you can do that, that's a perfect day. That's a perfect day to be going. Really, I think it is. I think it's a perfect day for the offense. Yes, we want Delp. More we want Delp. People, it's crazy. People have told me you got to make some "We Want Delp" merch. Like, folks, can you see how that would be a bad idea? I want him to, but come on. Let's not get too carried away. Although I don't know if you guys saw the picture, there was somebody on the beach in Charleston that literally had a "We Want Delp" signage or whatever with the letters flying over the beach, which I mean, it's insane. It's incredible. If he doesn't come to Carolina after that, I don't know. We tried. We did our best. That's all you can say. We did our absolute best. So, again, guys, questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Let's check the old Twitter machine to make sure nothing has happened. I tell you, it's crazy. News drops constantly on this thing. And Big Game Boomer. Have you seen him on social media? No. Big Game Boomer, the guy that makes the list. He's just like the list guy. He just makes lists constantly. I don't know what his qualifications are to make these lists, but he just makes lists. That's all he does. He just makes lists. He just released another one, top 50 stadium interest into college football. He's got the Gamecocks ranked 6th. Here's what will piss you off, though. He's got Clemson ranked 4th, which there's no way touching a rock and running down a hill is cooler than 2001. There's just no way. There's no way. Absolutely. I refuse to believe that. So, I don't know. Big Game Boomer, he's crushing on the list. He's up to 14,000 followers now. So, yeah, even Beamer's retweeted him multiple times. Multiple times. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, guys, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Brian Dean says, who is the newest Gamecock recruit? I think he meant who's the newest Gamecock signee or commitment, if you will. Supposed to be being announced tomorrow, and it's all guesswork right now. Nobody really knows. The hot rumor is Keenan Nelson, the 4-star defensive back, according to our guy, Phil Kornblue, who was on the show a few weeks ago over at Sports Talk. He is going to be, whoever the commitment is going to be the highest rated commit thus far for the 2022 recruiting class. So Keenan Nelson would fit the bill, Jamont Osmond would fit the bill, but I think it's people just guessing at this point. I think everybody's just kind of throwing shit at the wall and just praying it sticks. I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows. But again, if it was Keenan Nelson, would be incredible. That'd be an incredible pickup. And obviously Shane Beamer continues to build that momentum, if you will, on the recruiting trail. And like I've said, the thing that's impressed me even more, we can talk about individual prospects and this, that, and the type of impact they'll have. That's totally fine. I mean, that's cool. I'm down to break down the recruiting class. If you really want to do that, I'll tell you this. I've never been as into recruiting as I am right now with Shane Beamer, just because of the renewed energy and optimism and everything he has going on. But that is what excites me more. That's what I'm almost more impressed with. Because, hey, here's the thing. I did not expect Shane Beamer to have issues in recruiting. I mean, we've never really lacked in recruiting that I can remember. I feel like South Carolina has always been able to haul in top 25 classes. That's never been like a huge. You want to? Yeah, I mean, after Spurrier fell down a little bit, but even, Muschamp got here, I thought he did a pretty damn good job on the recruiting trail. I thought he did a pretty good job on the recruiting trail. So I feel like we've always been able to recruit, but what I'm more impressed with, and of course, hey, Shane Beamer's the one that recruited those great classes for Spurrier, recruited some of the best Gamecocks we've ever seen put on the garnet and black. What really impressed me, or is impressing currently, and I've said this on social media, I feel like many, many times, but what's really impressing to me is the way that Shane Beamer, because this program was in shambles 7.5, 8 months ago. That's not that long. The program was in complete shambles, and he has completely flipped the energy, flipped the enthusiasm, the mindset, everything going on with South Carolina football. And I think fans are, I could be wrong, but I think fans are, this is probably the most highly anticipated season of South Carolina football since 2014. Maybe 2018 after you won the Outback Bowl against Michigan, but it's been a while since South Carolina fans have been looking this forward to Gamecocks football. And that just goes to the job that Shane Beamer, his coaching staff, all those guys have done. It's been incredible. It's been incredible what Coach Beamer's been able to do. Obviously, through social media, he's done that. Through recruiting, he's done that. And again, the momentum he's built without even coaching a game. Hasn't won a game yet. That's why, I've said it many times this preseason, but, the record is secondary. In his first year, you need to just focus on laying the foundation and building the culture. But, man, the record is pretty important because you know what? You talk about the momentum you have right now in recruiting. You go out and win 6 games, go win 7, hey, go win a bowl game. All of a sudden, your recruiting will change. Your recruiting will change. Your program will continue to evolve. And you show prospects that you're ahead of schedule, and maybe you're able to land like a Keenan Nelson and Oscar Delp, and you're able to have this top 25 class, and recruiting is going to change for you. And that's what changes your program. And it all comes down to recruiting. It's the lifeblood of college football. We all know that. So I've been extremely impressed with the job that Shane Beamer has done to this point. It's just the way he's flipped momentum completely has been absolutely incredible. Ryan Dean says Coach Beamer's a head coach who actually wants to be there. What a concept. What a concept, right? He's a head coach who actually wants to be there, his dream job. And here's a funny tidbit for you. So at one point, I actually was on Will Muschamp's bag at the golf course, caddying for Will Muschamp. And I asked him this question. And it's just interesting looking back. This was May of 2019, before I even moved to Columbia. So a while ago now. A little bit over 2 years. And I asked Will Muschamp. We didn't talk a lot. He's not much of a talker on the golf course. Not a very good golfer either, by the way. And that's putting it kindly. But I asked Will Muschamp, I said, is it weird for you being a Georgia alum and then like coaching at Florida, coaching at Auburn, coaching at South Carolina? His response to me was short, sweet, and to the point. He said this, and I quote, "You're loyal to whoever is signing your check." And I was like, you know what? Now as we sit here in July 2021 and we look back, I'm like, you know what? Makes a lot of sense. Hey, whatever, man. I don't blame him. You got to get yours while you can get it. And listen. I think Will Muschamp did as good a job as he could. For whatever reason, it didn't work out. Sometimes it doesn't. But it is a business. It's a business for all these coaches. It's a business for all these coaches. And, he's moved on. He's happy. We moved on. We're happy, and it's all good. And that game against Georgia, week 3, should be very, very interesting to say, listen, I'm sure it'll be emotional for a lot of the players in South Carolina. I'm sure it'll be emotional for him too, to see all those guys. Yeah, Justin Langford, in case you're just tuning in, you did not know, if you've somehow been living under a rock and you did not see on social media, we're going to be live from 10 Roof 5 to 7 each and every single Wednesday. Appreciate the folks coming out here. We've also got open mic night tonight, 7 to 9. Excited for those guys going. We're going to be hanging out here just a little bit after the live stream, or the live show concludes at 7. But they're doing this each and every single Wednesday, 5 to 7. I'm going to get Noah, take some side video. Yeah, good. I'm trying to keep my guy over here busy. He's trying to get hours. It's all about getting you the hours, man. I'm just trying to get you hours. If you want to do a little side, all the little paint, whatever. Anyways, we're trying to get good content for you guys. But yeah, 5 to 7 each and every single Wednesday, man. We're really excited to be out here. And this is something, that I think Corey and I both are very passionate about this, and bringing more stuff like this to the community, and more Gamecock talk. I mean, more the merrier, right? More the merrier. So counting down 52 days. I'm telling you, you're going to blink, it's going to be game week. You're going to blink, and it's going to be game week. It's going to be here before you know it, and I know we're all looking forward to it for sure. Ryan Dean says, again, you can just see Coach Beamer's excitement for the program. It will carry over his players. I'm damn proud to be a Gamecock. I bleed garnet and black for life. Well, I'm ready to run through a brick wall now. Yes, sir. No, it feels good. I think the program's in a good state right now. Like I said, you're going to hit adversity, and that's what I'm most excited to see. South Carolina's going to hit adversity this year. They're going to get punched in the mouth against Georgia. I fully believe that. I think they're going to get hit in the mouth pretty hard against Georgia. I picked them to lose to Kentucky. So you talk about some adversity, but I think they start 4-2. And if you want to know how I think they're going to finish, well, they make a bowl game change their first year. We're dropping that on the podcast tomorrow. So by this time next week, when we do this, my full season predictions will be out there. But, I'm really excited again to see how this team responds to adversity. Because I think that's really where culture is built. I think that's where you really find out about your program, and the character of your program and of your team is how do you respond when adversity hits. And I think just too often, too many times, we saw previously where South Carolina has run into adversity or come into a big game and just crumbled for whatever reason. I don't know what it was or what it is, but it needs to change. It's got to change. You can't be getting blown out in big games, and that was the biggest thing before. It's all about that progress, and you can sell. Hey, just like last year, you can sell beating Auburn to a kid, but when you get blown out 48-3 to Texas A&M, you can't sell anything about that. You can't go into a kid's living room and say, "Hey, we're only 2 or 3 pieces away." You can't go tell a kid, "Hey, we're 2 or 3. You come here, you might be the piece that's the game-changing piece for us." You just can't. You can't sell that. So, seeing a well-coached football team, a team that plays the game the right way, a team that's disciplined, a team that attacks each and every single week, a team that plays with the name on the front of the jersey, not just the name on the back, plays with that pride, plays like Gamecocks. I think that's what we're all going to be looking for if you're one of Shane Beamer. Obviously, if you can get to a bowl game, you can get to 6, maybe 7 wins, then you can win a bowl game. That's just going to be the icing on the cake. Yeah, Brian Reed says play hard every play. Again, that's a good one. You're good. Yeah, you're good. So, yeah. Really excited about it. I think we are going to see that this year, no question. I think we are going to see that from Shane Beamer's squad. Absolutely. Again, guys, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight. If you're here in person, you want to text in your question, write it on a napkin, scream it at me, whatever you want to do. So, first time out. Very excited to be out here. Appreciate Corey. Appreciate everybody having us out at Tin Roof. Again, tip your bartenders, get some food, get some drink. Everything here is phenomenal. Tin Roof, a fantastic venue, one of the best venues in the city of Columbia. Of course, we're in the Vista. If you do not know where we are at, you're tuned into the live, whatever it may be. But in the Vista, we love it. We love it. In 646, July the 14th, 2021, less than 15 minutes to go here on a Wednesday afternoon. For those who may be interested, I will plug this. Tonight we are streaming live yet again at 9 o'clock. I'm actually playing the 2021 Gamecock season on NCAA Football 14 with the college football revamp mod. We are playing East Carolina tonight. So we played FCS Midwest last night, a.k.a. Eastern Illinois. Beat them 42-17, but it was a struggle. Not going to lie, Heisman mode sucks. Heisman mode really sucks. So I don't know how much I'm actually looking forward to playing this game tonight. Actually, tomorrow we play Georgia. That one's going to be really rough. Brian Dean, here's another question about the running backs. How would you use Marshawn Lloyd and Kevin Harris? Again, I think it's 1A, 1B. I don't know. I think you do need to establish a true number one back. I think it would serve you well to have a true number one running back. I don't think you want to go into games and say, hey, whoever's got the hot hand. When it's fourth quarter, 3rd and 1, 4th and inches, you need to know who you're giving the football to. But the great thing about these guys, both guys have different skill sets. Kevin Harris, the bus. Obviously, I think your guy's he's going to be your short yardage guy. He's going to be your in-between the tackles runner, but can also break one for you. We saw him do it against Ole Miss. We saw him do it against Kentucky. He's got home run ability. I see Marshawn Lloyd much more as outside of the tackles, home run threat, can take it to the house on any play. I think using him in the passing game as well. I think using Marshawn in the passing game, that is the one factor I think folks are not thinking about with Marshawn Lloyd. He's a pretty darn good pass catcher to be a running back. So I like both. Again, it's going to be really interesting. It's a great problem to have. When you got 2 fantastic backs, and he also mentions Saquon Wright. Yeah, you got plenty of good tailbacks, and it's all about splitting up those carries. John Rice says, what's up? What has a better chance of happening this year? Here's a great question. John, my guy, coming in through with the clutch. What's a better chance of happening? South Carolina beats Clemson, or the Gamecocks lose to Eastern Illinois in week 1? I got to say beat Clemson. There's no, dude, we could go suit up and go beat EIU, right? I mean, I'd like to think so. I'd probably say beat Clemson. I don't see any way you lose to EIU. If nothing else, the fans will you to a win. You're gonna easily. That's a name your score kind of game. That's an empty the roster kind of game. I gotta say beat Clemson. I've said before, and you're going to hear on tomorrow's show, I mean, I've said it, I think South Carolina's a couple years away from actually, beating Clemson as far as matching up with them, all 11, all 22, your depth. Clemson's been recruiting at a high level for the last 7, 8, 9 years, but it's a rivalry game. I mean, anything can happen, and you are at home. And also, I'm not wishing for this to happen, but this is a fact. Phil Corbin pointed out, hey, Clemson's a sprained ankle away at quarterback from being in some serious trouble. I mean, yes, they have 10 of 11 back on defense, but, they lost their backup quarterback to injury. If something happens to DJ Uiagalelei, they have a walk-on to take their snaps for them. So I got to say beating Clemson, and also at that point, South Carolina is going to be a much better football team in week, 13, I think that is, than they're going to be in week 1. I think this team, obviously, by the final game, you're going to know your identity. You're going to know exactly who you are. So it's a great question. It's a great question. I would say beating Clemson. There's a better chance of beating Clemson. There's just negative a billion% chance Carolina loses the EIU. Don't even play that. Don't even play like that. So. Good question. I like that. Those are the fun questions. That is such a preseason, off-season question. I'm surprised nobody's asked about uniforms yet. My God. Nobody's asked about unis. I feel like that is just what everybody loves to talk about is uniforms. So, I don't know. Again, guys, 843-790-3377, less than 10 minutes to go. Really excited. I think starting next week, if not next week, the following, I'm going to have koozies and stickers to give away up here. We've actually got Beaver Ball and Welcome Home koozies. They're on sale in the store. We're going to have some out here at Tin Roof. So if you're out here, you can get yourself a free koozie and a free sticker. So hopefully maybe at some point maybe we'll have some merch as well. But I want to give those koozies, those stickers away. So if you come out here in person, you better get them. And those Beaver Ball koozies are sick. They're awesome. Like I said, we have garnet and black. You can buy them in a bundle. Like I said, I don't know if they'll be here in time next week, but certainly the following week, we will have those on person, on the table up here. To give away. So really, really good stuff. You can get some Beaver Ball stickers as well. We'll have TSUS stickers. Also going to get some TSUS koozies, all kinds of stuff. Man. Just giving away free stuff. Everybody loves free stuff, right? So again, taking your last minute questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. So the boys are coming in, setting up. Again, open mic night tonight, 7 to 9. We've got a really good crowd right now, actually, at Tin Roof. Appreciate everybody coming out. I appreciate Corey having us out. Make sure you tip your bartenders. Everything else, but no, really good stuff, man. 52 days away. 52 days away. Like I said, guys, my first half predictions are out. They drop Monday. I've got the Gamecocks starting 4-2 this season. Wins over EIU, ECU, Troy, and Tennessee. Losses to Georgia and Kentucky. That's the one everybody's just going to kill me for that. But still, 4-2 start. Dropping the second half predictions tomorrow. I'll just say this. I think getting to a bowl game is a very, very realistic possibility this year. I think it's very realistic, especially if you can take advantage of the front half of the schedule. And I think let me put it this way, College Football News picks you to lose the last 5 games out of Florida, Auburn, Mizzou. Those 3, I find it hard to believe you lose all 3. It's tough for me to believe. Brian Lowe says, should South kind of go win more than 6 games, but they crack the top 25. I don't think South Carolina's going to be a top 25 team this year. Not that it even matters. I don't think that should be a preseason goal for South Carolina. Here's the problem. You're starting so far outside of the top 25, and we all know how important it is. We all know how important it is in top 25 rankings. Where you start helps out basically where you finish. But so I don't see South Carolina cracking the top 20, which again, who really gives a damn? That doesn't mean any, if we go 6-6 or 7-5 and we didn't crack the top 25, it's not going to dictate my thoughts on did we have a good season or not. Who really gives a damn what the AP and the coaches poll and whatever. It's really nice, it's cool, it's fun to talk about, it makes you feel good, but who really gives a damn? So. Got about 5 minutes, guys. Taking the last minute questions, comments, calls as well. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Again,
Show Drop Tomorrow podcast. Great interview, by the way. DJ Park, they played offensive line at Carolina. Saw a little bit of everything in Gamecocks football. Saw the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. He saw a coaching change. Again, he saw a little bit of everything. Had him on. We actually talked with Jarrell King this morning that played 2008 to 2010. Was a part of the team that went to the SEC championship in 2010, a big part of that offensive line. We've also got an awesome interview happening tomorrow morning. Content's rolling. It's incredible. It's incredible. Justin Langford says, I want to get back to the Outback Bowl. That'd be great. I've actually never been to a bowl. Yes, I have. That's a lie. I went to the Belk Bowl against Virginia. Oof. Not fun. Not fun. 28-0. There have been 2 games in my life. 2 games where I have sat there and not 3. Actually, I lied. 3 games. There's been 3 games where I've sat there and not clapped once because nothing good happened. 2019 Texas A&M. 2018, 2018 Belk Bowl against UVA, and then the 19 and 20 Texas A&M games. Just awful, terrible. So I'd love to have a better bowl game experience. And you think to yourself, how could you not have a better bowl game experience when you're down in Tampa, watching the Gamecocks in a warm New Year's Day bowl? Of course, the home of former Gamecocks quarterback Stephen Garcia, which we'll be seeing Stephen this week. Friday, we're headed out to the QB1 Athletics Camp, 2 o'clock in Lexington. Perry, Orth, and Stephen Garcia do a fantastic job of those camps. We'll be out there shooting some video and just really hanging out with the boys. Saturday, we got an event at Steel Hands. We're out there. We're actually a sponsor for that. The Steel Hands training camp event. Those guys are participating. We're going to go out there again, like I said. I told them I'd shoot some video. I think I'm more so using it as an excuse to drink cold beer, if we're being honest with the people on the live stream and in Tin Roof. So there you go. I guess I'm out on myself. No, it's going to be a really good time. Steel Hands is an awesome brewery, obviously, and they're throwing a fantastic event. It's actually benefiting Camp Cole, South Carolina. 70% of pint sales, I believe, from 4 to 7 or 5 to 8, one of those two. 70% of pint sales will go to Camp Cole, South Carolina, which is a fantastic organization. Highly suggest you guys head out to Steel Hands. Head out to Steel Hands for sure. So again, a lot going on. Again, football season has basically started, man. And you guys know in Columbia, South Carolina, the Southeast football season, 24/7, 365. No, I think training camp for NFL starts now. Starting in a couple weeks. The Hall of Fame game is literally August the 5th. I mean, the Hall of Fame game is less than a month away. We are that close to football. We are that close to the NFL. 3 weeks from Sunday. 3 weeks from Sunday, we had NFL football back. And what is it, Cowboys, Steelers, I think? Which, I mean, I don't care for either one of them, but it's football, right? Whatever. James Kendall says, I've been to the Chick-fil-A, Papa John's, and the Belk Bowl. I am done with bowl games. You should probably never go to a bowl game again, James. No more bowl games. So, like I said, the football's right around the corner. We got SEC Media Days on Monday. Shane Beaver speaking at 4 o'clock. Nick Muse and JJ Anibari will join him for that. We can talk about that next week while we're here at Tin Roof. 5 to 7 next Wednesday. And every single Wednesday, 5 to 7, we will be here live. Justin Langford, appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate everybody on the live stream tuning in. Appreciate everybody coming out here in person, hanging out with us here on a Wednesday. Like I said, really looking forward to how this thing evolves. And obviously, the first one, it's the middle of July, and that's one of the things I want to say earlier. I appreciate everybody rocking with us, rocking with the content, rocking with the show. I know right now is a slower time of year. There's not quite as much to talk about. There's nothing obviously happening on the field, but everybody continues to rock with the content. The numbers are incredible, and the engagement, everything else. And you guys continue to rock what we do, and I truly do appreciate it. Really excited to see how this evolves as we go week by week by week through the preseason, as we creep closer and closer to kickoff. And like I said, guys, SEC Media Days Monday, fall camp, the start of fall camp is going to be here 2 weeks. Before you know it, it's going to be fall camp. And before you know it, it's going to be game week. South Carolina, EIU, September the 4th, Williams-Brice Stadium, night game, 7 o'clock kickoff. And don't forget, we got the tailgate, the TSUS tailgate, that'll be live at Seawells. Every single game, Seawells. Details to follow that. But again, we're going to get out of here at 7 o'clock, get off the stage so we can do open mic night tonight, 7 to to 9. But again, appreciate you guys tuning in the live stream. Appreciate everybody coming out to the tin roof. Appreciate y'all tuning in, like I said, each and every single Wednesday night, 5 to 7. Tune in. Looking forward to it. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your night. Tip your bartenders, please. And tune in the podcast tomorrow and stay tuned to the content the rest of the week. Y'all take care. That's it. We're out.